Today's video is on the angles of elevation and depression. As you can see from the picture, angles of depression is when your eyesight angle is pointing downward, and your angle of elevation is when your eyesight is pointing upward. A couple steps to follow when solving these word problems. Step 1, you're going to draw the picture. Step 2, you're going to identify which trig function, whether you're doing sine, cosine, or tangent. And then step 3, you're going to solve either for the missing side length or the missing angle. Let's look at example 1. To calculate the height of a building, Joe walked 200 feet from the base of the building and measured the angle of elevation from his eye to the top of the building at 76 degrees. If Joe's eye level is at 6 feet, what is the distance from the top of the building to Joe's eye? I'm going to pause the video and draw my own picture with Joe, his eyesight, the angle, and the building. Obviously, this picture is not drawn to scale. Here I have Joe, 6 feet tall, 200 feet away from this building, and he's looking from his eyesight to the top of the building at an angle of elevation of 76 degrees. And I also made my triangle here. I can write in this side we know is the 200 feet, and we want to find the distance from the top of the building to Joe's eye. Distance from the top to Joe's eye, so that is this right here, the hypotenuse of my right triangle, because it's again across from the right angle. So from our angle we are looking for the hypotenuse, h, and we're also given the adjacent side here. So we're going to use, scroll down a little bit here. There we go. So cosine of the angle is going to equal adjacent over the hypotenuse, setting up a proportion and cross multiplying. 200 times 1 is 200 equals x times cosine 76. Dividing both sides by cosine 76, we get distance is about 826.788 feet. Approximately, that's what I got. Distance from the top of the building to Joe's eye. Let's look at example 6. I'm going to pause the video and we're going to draw a picture. So Angelina is flying a kite in the wind with a string with a length of 60 feet. The angle of depression of the kite, that means pointing down, is 35 degrees. How high is the kite in the air? Here I have Angelina, and here's the string of the kite. Said it was 60 feet. Kite's up here. The angle of depression is pointing downward, making that right angle triangle, that right triangle right here. And the other side we're trying to find is how high is the kite in the air, and that is measured by this side of the triangle, x right here. So now we have to identify whether we're using sine, cosine, or tangent. From our angle, we have the hypotenuse, and we have the opposite. So that is going to be sine 35 equals opposite over hypotenuse, setting up a proportion to cross multiply and solve. 1 times x is x, and then 60 times sine 35 is about 34.415 feet. That's how high the kite is above the ground. Right, what questions you have so far? We're going to do one more example where we have to use the inverse function to find a missing angle. Example is at the back of the notes. Number 4, you sight a rock climber on a cliff. The horizontal ground distance to the cliff is 1,000 feet. The line of sight distance to the rock climber, 2,500 feet. Find the angle of depression of the rock climber to you. Again, picture first. Picture. Here I am right here, and I'm looking up towards the rock climber on my cliff. The horizontal distance to the cliff was 1,000, and the line of sight distance from the rock climber to me was 2,500 feet. We're trying to find the angle of depression, which is right here, pointing down from the rock climber to me. In this example, we are given the opposite side, and we're given the hypotenuse. So we're going to use sine of the angle that we don't know, and it's going to equal opposite divided by the hypotenuse. In your calculator, you're going to type in sine inverse, parenthesis of that fraction, and let's see what you get.